In this video, we'll be looking at overall average rate. Now we know that distance is equal to rate times time. So if we want to take this equation and look at just the rate, I would divide both sides by time, t. These would cancel, and I can see that my rate is equal to distance divided by time. So the overall average rate is total distance divided by total time. This is the formula that we'll be using. Our first problem is Frank and Judy drive for 100 miles at 50 miles per hour. Then they drive 180 miles at 60 miles per hour. What is their overall average rate for the trip? So I need to find, I have the distance on this first sentence. They have 100 miles, but I need the time also. So if I have 100 miles at 50 miles per hour, I know that I can take my distance divided by my rate to get my time. I can take this equation right here, and if we divide both sides by rate, I have distance divided by rate is equal to time. So to get my total time, I'm going to need to get my time on this one. 100 miles at 50 miles an hour is 2 hours. And then on the second sentence, we have 180 miles at 60 miles an hour. And that is 180 divided by 60, which is 3 hours. So my total time is 5 hours. My total distance is 280 miles. So my overall average rate of speed is total distance, which is 280, divided by total time, which is 5 hours. And this is 56 miles per hour. Let's do another one. Frank and Judy drive for 100 miles at 50 miles an hour. Then they drive 180 miles at 60 miles an hour. And then how fast must they drive for the last 120 miles to have an overall average rate of 60 miles per hour for the whole trip? Again, let's see, we have 100 miles at 50 miles per hour, and that'll give me 2 hours. And then I had 180 miles at 60. And that gave us 3 hours. And then how fast must they drive for the last 120 miles? So I have 120 miles at, and I don't know their rate of speed, so I can call that R. And I don't know that time, we'll call that T. To get an overall average rate of 60. So I know that my overall average rate is total distance divided by total time. My total distance, 400 miles. My equation then, my overall average rate here on the left is going to be 60. On the right, my total distance is 400. And my total time is 5 plus t. I can cross multiply here. 60 times 5 plus t is equal to 400. 60 times 5 is 300. 60 times t subtract 300 from both sides. So 60t is equal to 100. Divide both sides by 60. Time is equal to 5/3. Now, since I'm wanting to know how fast I have to drive, I'll use this time in my distance equals rate times time. My distance for that last part of the trip was 120 miles. I'm looking for how fast I need to drive, and my time is 5/3. So I'll multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 3/5. These cancel, and I have r is equal to 72. So I have to drive 72 miles per hour on that last part of the trip.